Hello, Facebook. It is Reid from ReidAboutSex.com with the sun setting behind us. Guest starring Allison Moon today for today's walk.
Hello.
And you have your Pokemon on?
Yep.
We are catching Pokemon, ladies and gentlemen, and talking about sex education.
I just got a Psyduck.
A what?
Psyduck.
Psyduck?
Yeah.
That sounds dirty. Hi everyone. As you tune in, let us know where you're tuning in from. Allison and I had to go to the post office, to mail some Girl Sex 101 books off to Babeland, and I needed to send off a Sex Geek t-shirt to Oklahoma, I think.
Oh, nice.
Oklahoma. And the thing I wanted to talk about today was the power of show and tell sex education, and what does that even mean? And tomorrow, I am committing to, at 11 a.m. Pacific, I hope, to be doing, I'm going to do a Facebook Live and chat even more about show and tell sex ed, and show and tell you more about show and tell sex ed, because it's not going to be explicit. It will be Facebook friendly. But the idea is, this is something I'm passionate about, and that we don't get a lot of opportunity in our culture to actually watch people doing sexual things and be able to ask them questions. So in the realm of what most people access for sex ed is they Google sex or whatever the sexual act that they're looking for, and then they see something on online or click images or video, and they try to get their information that way. A lot of folks, if you don't know where to go, end up seeing traditional mainstream porn, and as we've talked about before, trying to learn how to be a better lover from watching porn is like trying to learn how to be a better driver from watching the Fast and the Furious. Porn definitely has its place, and there is sex education porn out there. You can go to Jessica Drake's Wicked Pictures and the Wicked Guide to Sex Ed. Tristan Taormino has some amazing expert guides to blank, fill in the blank, no pun intended. And that's sex education explicitly shown, where they'll talk about and educate, and then you get to kind of see people actually, porn performers and adult performers, actually doing the things. What I like to talk about with show and tell sex ed is that these are situations. Oh, we have bicyclists. Thank you, Allison Moon, for dragging me out of the way. Hello. And now we're walking directly into the sun. And so for me, show and tell sex ed are situations where it's happening live, and you get to ask questions and get your questions answered, and the answers often modeled for you while you're watching it. And for people who are visual learners, this can be really, really powerful. Let's just turn around. Here, Allison's asking questions. It can be really powerful, these situations, because not only are you getting to see with living, breathing human beings, and hopefully really good educators in really, conscious, great role modeling of communication situations, learning situations, but the deeper piece that's going on underneath the surface is that if it's okay to watch and it is okay to ask questions, then by the very nature that we're doing these things, they must be okay to do. And we're modeling, because you can ask questions, you get questions answered, that it's okay to have sex, to feel pleasure. It's okay to not know the answers and to seek out guidance for those kinds of things. Do you want to chime in here in between your Pokemon?
Yeah, my favorite part of doing show and tell sex ed is being able to role model negotiation. Because a lot of times working with a model, you're either working with somebody that you know, or you might be working with somebody who's a peer in the community, but you're not actually lovers with. And so you're doing sexual things to somebody and asking questions about their pleasure as you're going, which I think is what sex often does look like, but people don't think it does. And so when you're in front of a room touching somebody and saying, hey, do you like this? What would make it different? Or what would you prefer? Can I test you here? In this really respectful, fun, light way, I think it gives people permission to realize that not only does this happen in a classroom context, but this is actually what negotiation, healthy negotiation looks like in bed.
Yeah, usually without the audience, right? I mean, some of you might have an audience, and that's totally cool, whatever you're into. But that situation, I think, is really useful. And, you know, show and tell sex ed can look in a lot of different ways.
And also, like, the diversity of experience, right? Like, I might suggest, like, hey, I'm going to try this on you, and they're like, and I'm like, okay, great, like, what would make it different? And then they can tell me something that they would like more, and I'm learning how to do something, and then the whole room is seeing new experiences.
Michael wants to know what you're catching in this area. That's a good question.
There are a lot of tentacles around here. We're near the water, so we got some tentacles.
Here's the water. So we got tentacle things.
We got a lot of little carps, magic carps, which is good because I haven't gotten my big one yet. But then a bunch of, like, the new ones, I was getting so close to finishing the entire roster, and then the new ones came out, and now I'm like, got a lot more.
All right, enough about Pokemon. Back to sex ed.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, thanks, Mike, for diverting us. So I'm going to do a recording tomorrow. I'm going to try to stay on as long as Facebook will let me. I'll have some puppets and things like that to demonstrate some PG-13 show and tell, where it's actually not on a live body. The other versions of show and tell sex ed, you can be doing things where they're fully clothed. There's lots of, like, non-sexual stuff that you can demo, kissing and whatnot, and then there's the NC-17 or explicit stuff. If you're curious about show and tell sex ed stuff that I have coming up, then one of the things that happened this morning is I opened up the registration page for some new courses and retreats that are coming up. So go to readaboutsex.com/deep dive. One word, deep dive, and you'll find out all about the Sex 10X stuff that's happening and the deep dive retreat and some of that. And then if you're interested in Girl Sex 101, go to girlsex101.com. You can order your books today.
And it's coming out in Espanol.
Yes.
Muy pronto.
See, and that's like Mujeres de Sexo or something?
Sexo entre mujeres.
Yes. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
That's it. That's our walk today. We're done. Pokemon away, my friends.
I just got a mantine.
A mantine. How exciting. How exciting. Bye, everyone.
Bye.